show where politics meets the South. So grab your sweet tea, find a comfortable spot to sit back, and let's embark on this journey together.
Oh, yeah. Coming at you. And good Wednesday morning. I am Chip Matthews, your host of the Chip Matthews Show here on WYAB. Up late last night. Oh, yeah. Well, I was waiting. Well, not up late in real terms. Up late for a person that has to get up and come to work at 4:30 in the morning. Yes. And I sat there and waited. And, of course, the arguments are going to take place. They're going to go on. Canton has a new person in charge, or rather a new person vying for the position that we want. Of course, Camelia Walker was defeated last night by Tim Taylor. Tim Taylor is who I said would be the best person to run the city in the event I don't win. And so that's the way I look at it, and that's a good thing. There was a lot of, that got ugly at the end, and I'm going to tell you what, 50.7% of the vote may not hold. The Blackman family was in there. They're fighting for big money, y'all. They're fighting for big money that's coming into Canton, and right now, they're kind of blocked out. The Blackman law firm family is blocked out because they got to find some votes. But there's enough votes laying around to where if they could get them in and get some others kicked out, it could flip. It's just too close, y'all. Everybody was celebrating last night, but it's Canton politics, y'all. Canton politics is a different level of evil. You just don't understand. And in Jackson, John Horn wins and everybody's excited. Well, let me explain to you. John Horn gives you more of what you've been getting. Nothing. It sounded good, but you're in Benny Thompson's district. Nobody gets nothing in Benny Thompson's district but Benny Thompson. Remember that. He is not out for us. He's out for him. And he needs to be gone. That's where the problem is for the Benny Thompson district. And, Chokeway got beat so bad last night. We ain't got to worry about him for a little while. And then, of course, y'all will see him out working probably later on in the year. He'll be out there picking up trash on the side of the road. Not because he wants to. Okay? But it'll be something new, something different for him. But the elections, I guess the Democratic primaries are over. And so now we go forward to the main event where Kim Wade will take on John Horn. And John Horn's got to run on what he's done for the city all these years that he's been in office. Well, let's just look around the city of Jackson and see what he's done. Okay. He could have brought money to town to do this. He could have brought money down to do that. None of that's been done. You know that. He's been down at the Capitol and he talks about all the people that he can get along with down at the Capitol to get things done. Yet he was a member of that same group of people that could not come up with a budget for the new year and have to go back for special session. He's got to do that. He's going to be busy. Good morning. Who have I got over here on the screen? Good morning, Irene. Good morning. But that's what I'm saying. If you have a new man in the Democratic Party, and some people are acting like it's over. But no, y'all. The Democratic primary is over, and we have better candidates, or we have the better of what we would like to see running for office. Okay, we're glad some people have been eliminated. That is good. I'm still worried about the Canton situation because you have the Blackmans on the other side, and I promise you, and we'll know real quick if they're going to drag this into court in the next day or two. Because you got to remember, now we're in the wait period, the 5 days of votes marinating and things occurring. We're in the 5 days of waiting on people that didn't bring their ID on election day to bring in their ID. Although when they voted absentee, they brought their ID. And when they showed up to get those government checks, they had their ID. But when you come to vote, we're going to give you 5 more days to where we can figure out who we want to win. And that's the situation when you get into a close race. And you've got to watch this because it'll be 5 days. And then they will certify the election. And then when they certify the election, what will happen next? What will happen next? Will there be a challenge in Canton? I mean, that's where that is. Jackson, you ain't got to, that's pretty much a done deal. You know, going forward what's going on in Jackson. But in Canton, Mississippi, the fight is still on. The fight is still on to make sure, because at 50.7, and there's some votes laying around that can be counted. And then there's going to be some screaming of some disenfranchising and some people that didn't get to vote and this, that, and the other. They'll start all of that if they feel like they can flip this thing. So we'll be watching for that. Other than that, I am starting up my campaign. I will be getting my signs in the ground. I'll be running also against an independent, Walter Peoples. And so you'll have Walter Peoples, Tim Taylor, and myself on the ballot running for the Canton mayoral spot, which ought to be a great race or a unique race, because I don't know what the people of Canton are thinking. I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna knock on every door. They got out, but the race is so close. There's so few people. That 50% or 49.3% that she got. Who's going to get those? Who is going to get those? Will Tim continue to get all the votes he gets? We have no idea. We have no way of knowing. And we'll watch, and we'll keep up with it, and we'll report fairly as we go. And I've invited Tim to be on the show at any time he'd like to come. So we'll be hearing from him along the way. And yes, he's coming on, and we are running against each other, but he and I know each other, and he and I know we both love Canton, and he and I know that we both come from different sides of the tracks. And that's the way it was back when he and I were growing up, different sides of the tracks, but we all believe in one Canton, black and white. And it's going to get better. And we know that it's going to get better right now because it seems that the Blackman faction, and of course, our version of Chokwe Antar Lumumba, William Truly, will be gone. We'll be gone. It'll be great. Now all we got to do is find all the monies, find out what they didn't get, and then watch what they carry out the door when they're going, and make sure that they left us some to run a city with. Okay, we're going to take a break. If you got something on your mind this morning and you want to talk about it, give me a call. 601-879-0002. And I'll be back right after this. Right here, this important message on the Chip Matthews Show here on WYAB. On the Chip Matthews Show here on WYAB.
1039 WYAB.
What are people saying about Tom's Fried Pies in Richland? I'm on a diet. I don't supposed to be down there at Tom's Fried Pies. We had a good time. When I tell you the crust was flaky, I'm talking about buttery. This was nothing like I've ever tasted. Ever. I mean, I've never tasted anything like that, man. It was nice. Atmosphere was nice. Everybody there was nice. Because I'll be back, even though I don't supposed to with my diet. I really enjoyed myself.
Tom'sFriedPies.com. Tom'sFriedPies.com.
Hello, I'm Gary Jolly from the Tractor Store. LS Tractor understands your passion for the land, and just like you, LS Tractor is committed to excellence and superior products. LS Tractor comes with a long list of standard features that are unmatched by other brands and backed with the LS commitment to provide exceptional customer service and satisfaction. You get a lot more for your money with the LS Tractor. Come to the Tractor Store in Richland to experience the LS difference. The Tractor Store in Richland.
Looking for the perfect spot to unwind with friends and family? El Patrio Mexican Restaurant is calling your name. With locations in Flowood and Cross Gates, Brandon, El Patrio is the cozy, family-owned gym where great food meets great times. Enjoy El Patrio's signature margaritas and happy hour specials that keep their customers coming back for more. Indulge in their authentic Mexican dishes prepared with love and served in a warm, family-friendly atmosphere. Come to El Patrio and taste the traditions. El Patrio, where family, flavor, and fun come together.
Is your dog's behavior stressing you out? Imagine a home where your dog listens and behaves. Hunter Logan here with the Dog Wizard, and we can make this a reality. Our proven training techniques make obedience a natural part of your dog's life. We tailor our programs to meet your dog's individual needs, offering day school, board and trains, private lessons, and group classes. TheDogWizardMadison.com. Transform your dog's behavior and enjoy a happier home. That's TheDogWizardMadison.com.
At Johnny's Pizza House, we consider our customers like family, so we spend the extra time needed to put more love into making our pizza. From our dough made fresh daily to fresh, never frozen ingredients, Johnny's Pizza House takes pride in knowing that what we serve our customers isn't just pizza. It's a slice of home in every single bite. Great traditions start with great food and great people. Start your tradition today with Johnny's Pizza House. Let's share a slice.
Life is loud, chaotic, hilarious, and occasionally peaceful. Your life fits you, so why settle for life insurance that fits someone else? At Shelter Insurance, our local agents help you design a personal protection plan backed by award-winning customer service. We're your shield. We're your shelter. Shelter Life Insurance Company, Columbia, Missouri.
See Shelter Agent Jamie Creel for a free personal protection review. Attention homeowners and business owners. Complete Exteriors is now Elite Roofing and Gutters. Are your roof and gutters storm ready? The folks at Elite are your local experts in storm protection. Now is the time for an inspection and for proactive solutions that ensure your roof and gutters can withstand any storm. Get up to a possible $250 rebate on a new roofing system for all active military, veterans, and retirees. Online at EliteRoofer.com.
Dr. Bobby C. Pankey and Associates proudly welcome optometrists Mary Lou Puglisi and Dylan Pankey to their team of eye care professionals. Both share Optical 2000's commitment to offering you and your family the highest quality eye care, blending state-of-the-art technology with personalized service. After your eye exam, step next door to the optical shop, which features select frames, Gucci, Tom Ford, Calvin Klein, Lacoste, Maui Jim, Scott Harris, Michael Ryan, and others. Optical 2000 in Clinton and Richland.
Welcome back to the Chip Matthews Show, and here is your host, Chip Matthews.
And I am back on a Wednesday morning here on the Chip Matthews Show, waking you up, getting you out of bed, getting you on your way to do the things you got to do today. And I was just talking with somebody on the phone, and he was talking to me, and he goes, I said, we can't have a long conversation. And he goes, well, the election's not over. And, you know, he did a great job. He was the campaign manager for Tim Taylor. But he was sitting there going, and that's a good thing because Tim and I get along. And so I was his campaign manager. But he was just sitting there and I was going, he go, yo, we sent Barbara Blackman home last night. Yes, we did. But it ain't over. They're going to go back and regroup. They got 5 days to be the crooks that they are. and we'll see what happens. By the way, and that's alleged crooks, by the way. I want to do my romper room thing here and say good morning to, let's see who we see. We see Beth, Avon Lady. We see Jolene. We see Debbie. And we see Irene. Good morning, all. We're here. We're doing the thing. Check in on Facebook on Chip Matthews on Facebook, Chip Matthews on X, and on YouTube. And, of course, you can listen, of course, right here on WYAB 103.7 FM and also at WYAB.com. Coming up after me is another person that will be sitting here going, oh, the wind's out of our sails. We have made it past the calming waters of the oceans of victory. And that is Clay Edwards, who will be coming in going, who has been inspired by Chokwe Antar Lamumba to do what he's been doing for years, going after him. And now we're all sitting here with a W. He's got a good W. We're waiting to see if we can get more W. Money, honey. Yeah, that's what it's about, Irene. Money, honey. The whole election is about money. That's all it's about. That's all it's about. People are fighting for the money. Good morning, Anita. It's real important to know that the upcoming election in Canton is imperative that we have, and we will have a fair election, but we've got to make sure that we're on pace to clean up Canton, and that's what's going to happen. We got to clean up. Clean up is twofold in Canton. If I went with me or Tim, we're going to wind up with cleaner streets. But the key is we need cleaner government, and we need clean, and that's that right there in a nutshell. We have made it to that point now that we should have a cleaner government in Canton, Mississippi. So all you people that own businesses, you can get on the phone, get up there, start looking for real estate to open up your business, to be a part of the big rush of business that's coming in as the Coca-Cola plant and the Amazon plant and all of that gets going out there, and no telling what else is going to be built. And it'll all be rolled out slowly. But right now, everything is good. But we got 5 days. This is why these election laws need to be fixed. There's 5 days of waiting on people who came in to vote that didn't bring their ID. So as they bring in their ID, 103. Oh, sorry, John Krumer. I messed up. 103.9, not 103.7. Huh. Well, good. I'm glad you found us. Never mind. I don't know where I'm at. But we've got to watch this. These 5 days that the state of Mississippi needs to get rid of in our election laws, of where if you don't come in with your ID, you don't get to vote. You can't get on a plane without an ID. You can't cash a check without an ID. You shouldn't be able to vote without an ID. Yeah, in a state that claims to have voter ID. Because once it gets through, once a vote is laying around, whether it's in an envelope and counted yet or not, there are scrupulous lawyers out there, or unscrupulous lawyers, let's just say, who will be working to try to get those votes counted. And like in one case, I remember when Bishop was running against Banks in the supervisor's race, they kept arguing, wanting those last 3 votes counted, because that's what the situation was. Let's get these last 3 votes counted. Okay. And when they went to count them, of course, then Bishop won by 2 votes. He didn't get that. That didn't help Banks at all in that situation. But let me give you how close this election was. When the machine totals were added up, before we opened any envelopes or any absentees, Camelia Walker was winning by 1 vote. Absolutely 1 vote. When they read the machines, 1 vote was the difference before we got into the absentees and the affidavits. And so that's what's telling you that this fight ain't over. This fight, we feel like we've solved some problems along the way, and we have. We're on the better side of that hill. But too much money is fixing to drop on Canton. And too much money. And I mean, you got to understand, with the money that's coming to Canton, then and new leadership in the government with the truly gone and his bad politics, we'll just say. How about that? Bad politics. And currently the Blackmans are on the outside looking in with their candidate. But with one vote victory on the machines, they fixing to get into, I mean, it's about to get interesting. And I mean, it won't be over, but you have this 5 days that Democrat Delbert Hosemann put into the voter ID law. And it was something that should have sunset from when they originally did it. When they first put it in, it made sense that you weren't doing anything nefarious and that people would have time to get used to having to have an ID to walk in and vote. But that's been 8-10 years ago. Voter ID in Mississippi's been here for a while. So now you have these 5 days that we're waiting on people to bring in their IDs. And so the election will not be certified until I think it's next Tuesday or Wednesday. Because you have to wait on those ballots to be verified or not verified. And so those ballots, and I don't know what the number is, if they exist or not exist, those ballots will be counted or not counted. So, as we sit and wait. And then, of course, everything postmarked during these 5 days, although the election is really over. But there may be some mail-ins out there that hadn't come in yet. And as long as they're postmarked yesterday, they could be counted. That's why it is so important to win by a large margin. So we're sitting here now with all the political crap that can happen that could have been solved by the legislature years ago, but they can't even come up with a budget. You could have solved that. Now we're going to get into a fight over that, and it will delay the outcome of the ballot coming out for the general election. We went through this last year with Truly and I, and Truly and I were the only two candidates running, and we couldn't get a ballot out on time. Imagine that. And I think right now, in order to clear up all the problems, because we were throwing out ballots of people that voted in the wrong precincts, and they voted in the wrong precincts because they had already voted here, and somebody said they're supposed to be there, and this, that, and the other. All that stuff that goes on. I say we go to one precinct for the general election so that every vote can count. That's what I think. Just like they did in Pearl. I never heard of doing that until I heard in this election that Pearl did it and Brandon did it. And we're only talking about 1,200 votes, y'all. 2,400 votes in Canton. There is no problem in getting 2,400 people in and out on the square. Turnout was low. Look, at lunchtime, I'm going around, and I want to say that there was, in places that I didn't expect 100 votes, there was a little over 100 votes. And then in the South Liberty area and at the Armory and all that, we were in the 86, 87 range. And I was going, that's interesting. Then I come back later on yesterday, and there was 300 votes. They even said at one point, voting, we ran out of ballots at a place, and that place where we ran out of ballots, accordingly to what I was being told, was only 300 and something votes cast at that location, So I don't know how you run out of ballots when you have a town that's way more than 2,400 people. And once again, let's talk about that. 2,400 people are deciding the politics of Canton. At least it's better than what it's been being. It's been being one or two people have decided the politics of Canton, and it's been corrupt every election. For years, this has gone on. But now we're down to Tim Scott Taylor, and Chip Matthews, and then, of course, independent Walter Peoples. So there'll be three of us on the ballot and going forward in that election. Then in Jackson right now, you got what is it? Kenny G won for the Republicans. Yeah, Kenny G. And then you got for the Democrats, you got John Horn. And then you got to look at the radio strongman, Kim Wade, as an independent. There's some other independents that I don't really know right off, but it's going to be a great race. It's going to be a great finish. Things are going to change. Things are going to get better. And just when you thought they couldn't get better, because we've been so used to being disappointed, all of us that live in the district known as the Benny Thompson land of nothing, it looks like we've seen a little light. So we need to work on keeping the light. We need to, and look, I'm going to tell you this, anybody that wants to help us in Canton, lawyers, we're going to need lawyers for the fight against the Blackmans to make sure everything stays. If you got 2 cents that you want to put in, you need to put it in and help us if you can. And look, you hear me, I'm asking y'all to help my opponent, because that's what's got to happen. I've got to win, but I got to make sure he gets a chance to win, because if he does not win, then we are in trouble. Canton is back. Canton is about to bust at the seam with money, and can go all kind of places, and things can really happen. The square can get developed, and Oxford and Canton, in my vision, can actually happen. You see the light. But if the Democrat known as the Blackman family, their law firm, if they figure out a way to get their candidate over the threshold on the Democratic side, then it's all in play again. It's all in play again. And we got to fight it. We got to do what we can do to make sure that does not happen. The ballot needs to be Tim Taylor and myself and Mr. Peoples, and that's that. And it needs to come on out. We need to get going. But y'all, this is Canton politics. I've been telling y'all for years, there ain't nothing like it. I watched a girl last night who was on the election commission. And look, one of the people on the election commission in midday yesterday had enough and quit and went home. Said, that's it. I'm not getting in it. I mean, that's how bad it been. We've had 2 people resign off the board since this election process began. That's the fight in Canton. And it's been going on for 36 years. And it is finally broke in half. And good people have come, enough good people made it out, barely, to get us going forward. So we've got to go forward and fix the city. And we've got to keep the people that are just out for money for themselves, we got to keep them at bay. Okay, let's take a break. We got to take a break. And then I'll be back. And we'll talk some more about it. If you got something on your mind, please give me a call. It's 879-0002 right here on WYAB.
103.9 WYAB.
The weather is heating up and the deals are even hotter at Mazda of Jackson. Right now at Mazda of Jackson, you can drive home your dream Mazda with low financing rates available. 2.9% for 72 months on most models, or finance 36 months and pay just 0.9%. That's right, 0.9%. Experience Mazda's exhilarating performance, top-notch safety, and reliability. It's time to choose Mazda. Shop online at MazdaofJackson.com or visit Mazda of Jackson, I-55 Frontage Road in Jackson.
Eating at a seafood buffet is a classic Southern tradition, but finding one with fresh, delicious food is hard to do. Well, I found a seafood buffet where everything tastes good. It's 4 corners steak and seafood, but it's not just fresh catches from the sea. Come in for perfectly cooked ribeyes, sirloins, and chops from the grill. Make it a routine to stop in before or after the big game. Open for dinner Thursday, Friday, and Saturdays at 4:30. That's Four Corners Steak and Seafood, right off Highway 25 on the way to Starkville. Let's go.
CBS News Brief. The faithful are paying final respects to Pope Francis after his coffin was transferred to St. Peter's Basilica this morning. Sylvia Cantu Stewart traveled from Texas for the canonization of a new saint.
So our plans have changed, and we feel that it's a God incident that we're here, but sad, but blessed to be here.
President Trump is trying to calm fears after the IMF warned his new tariffs will slow down the U.S. and global economies. About tariffs on China, he says
145% is very high, and it won't be that high. It's not going to be that high.
Some evacuation orders lifted now after a massive wildfire forced 3,000 people from their homes in Ocean County, New Jersey. Danny Johnson lives in Toms River.
What's surprising is that it's been raining a lot for the last month. So where this came from, I think it took a lot of people by surprise, honestly.
CBS News Brief. I'm Deborah Rodriguez.
Looking to boost productivity and morale in the office? Let Huey Magoo's bring a delicious stress-free lunch right to your workplace. Perfect for team meetings, client presentations, or just a midday pick-me-up. Hand-breaded and grilled tenders, sandwiches, and salads. They make it easy. Just pick your favorites, and they'll deliver everything right to your office. On time, no fuss, no hassle. Whether it's a working lunch, team celebration, or just because, let Huey Magoo's handle the meal, and you handle the business. Huey Magoo's. Make someone smile today.
Can anyone in Jackson say the name of Bravo, Broad Street, and Salanuki's catering company? Yes. Let's find out.
Mangia Bini.
Mangia Ben.
Mangia Benet?
It actually is Mangia Bene. Mangia Bene. It's Mangia Bene. It means eat well in Italian, and it's the catering group for Bravo, Broad Street, and Salanuki's.
Mangia Bene Catering. Choose us, and you'll always eat well. 3 restaurants, 1 call. Mangia Bene Catering.
Mangia Bene. Hey everybody, it's John at Two Gun Tactical. We're having Kim Wade Wednesdays at both locations. So you come in and mention Kim Wade on a Wednesday, you get half price range fees. Hey, if you're a member, we're going to give you an extra free target just for mentioning Kim Wade Show. Come on in and work on your shooting and exercise that 2A right that if we don't fight for it, we won't have it much longer. It's twoguntactical.com. That's the number 2, guntactical.com.
Rapid Oil Change has been the fast service leader in oil changes for over 40 years. With parts to fit most makes and models in stock, it's easy to see why we are Central Mississippi's leader in fast service. We feature brands like Castrol, Mobile One, Rain-X, Lucas, and Full Throttle. We do more than just change oil with services like wiper blades, new tires, tire repair, cabin filters, air filters, and much, much more. Open 6 days a week and ready to serve. Stop by one of our 6 fast-friendly locations today. We accept most national fleets, and local fleets are welcome.
And good Wednesday morning. Chip Matthews here on the Chip Matthews Show here on WYAB. Remember, coming up at 7 o'clock, the very excited this morning to be here, Clay Edwards show. And he'll be talking Chokeway and talking about going and getting Chokeway a new uniform to wear and this, that, and the other. Because Chokeway will probably get to continue to do public service for us here in the Jackson area. And we will see him out there on the side of the roads picking up trash. But anyway, I'm looking online here at one of my comments from Irene Jackson. It's exhausting keep going back and forth with these elections. Vote faithfully every time. We're in a new era now. And I agree with that. We're in a new era. This is rare air for us. With the cost of gas, eggs, and everyday living rising, people are tired. And the rumors of the FBI watching the polling stations, many are just too afraid to show up. And they were, look, I talked to people that were there to watch. But I mean, you got in Canton, they watch and can't keep up. I had one guy walking up to me asking me, who are the players and what's going on? There were people yelling and screaming and calling each other's name at 5 o'clock. Yes, before the polls closed in City Hall, working on it. But anyway, most folks are going to go to Chancery Court and vote early, quietly, and on their own time. People are starting to lose faith, not just in the system, but in the separation created by DEI. Yes, but I agree with that. But things are changing. Things are changing for the better. We all are Mississippians. We all are from the cities that we are from. And we all, one thing, it's like I tell everybody all the time, in Mississippi, we all live together. We live next door. The old school racial politics has run its course nationwide, to tell you the truth. But and there's a new America coming out, and a new we're going through the growing pains. But people are tired of always hearing, yes, it could be this and that. When you've gone out and you've got a degree, or you've started your own business and you've worked and you've done the things that you've done, because you got to take care of yourself. You got to start with yourself to improve yourself. And and you want the things, when you watch TV, you want the things that those guys on TV have. And the only way you can't go steal them, you got to buy them. That's the way it works. You buy them and you become a productive citizen of society. And that's what needs to go on. And people need to do the right thing to make that happen. Good morning, Jimmy Rogers and David Riley. And Timothy Jenkins is online right now. Man, you would have enjoyed that. And Timothy was a former election commissioner from Madison County. He did it for a decade. And this is going to be interesting how this plays out in Canton with the Blackmans being in. They want these jobs. Lawyers want to be handling Canton. There's too much money to be made legally if you're representing Canton. But it's even worse. Once they get in, they can't just grab legally money. They will grab the illegal money. And these are the things that's got to go. You know, black for a living politics is going to be over. That's for sure. That's what we got to get away from. You know, we've got to get out, do what we got to do, work hard, bring everybody together, and carry on. And Canton can now prosper. We've had 35 years of racial politics in Canton, just to tell you. And I don't understand why we call it racial politics when the percentage of white to black is like, I think somebody told me last night, there's only 17% white in Canton. I'm like, yeah. But I mean, Canton hadn't grown at all. And that's because they purposely kept it from growing. They purposely kept it from bringing in the neighborhoods that it should have its natural growth pattern. I mean, you know, Canton is right across from Germantown in Gladstadt. People don't realize that. All of that was brought in, and the way they gerrymandered that when they brought it in was to keep it from growing. They didn't want to change the racial makeup of Canton. And you know, people want to live where people want to live, and people go where money is safe. And as long as Canton and Jackson were not safe, people are not going to want to be there. But now, with Truly gone, and with our buddy Chokeway gone in Jackson, people are going to want to move back. People are going to, or at least think about it. But of course, we're a long way to go, and especially if Kim Wade wins, Jackson is saved. I hate to say that. I hate to put that much pressure on Kim, but Jackson is saved. And in the Canton situation, it has changed, and it needs to stay this way. It needs to stay this way. It needs to be. Tim has to hold on and win. And I just hope that legally we don't get in a situation to where the Blackmans do some magic. I mean, because basically I won the last election. I was the one who had the only legal votes in the last election. And then the Blackmans did some black magic on it, and boom, I was gone. That's right. That's the way it works. And the person that was seated in the chair to be the mayor for the last 4 years was elected, and a jury said he had zero, count them, zero legal votes in the election. That's what we're dealing with here. Dealing with the Blackmans are very talented lawyers, and I'll give them that. But I'm gonna tell you what, the war will be on. It will be happening, and we got 5 days to wait for the certification. But during that time, it'll start happening. I mean, they started filing lawsuits against the Democratic Election Commission and trying to change things as early as Monday, going into Tuesday, and then got out, and there was some bad language put out, and rumors and accusations and against people, and they got into personalities, but everybody overcame that, and you're still sitting on the outside. But it may not stay that way. We got to be careful. We got to move forward. Got to take measured steps. It's the election process, y'all. And then for all of you that are into the crypto world, which y'all know that I keep up with it, aren't we happy today? That money is starting to make a rebound in the crypto world. My portfolio, which at one time on this one account, we'll look at this one account, used to be $35,000. And when Trump went in, it dropped all the way down to 7. And we're back at 14 and rising today. And, Ethereum will take off, and Shiba Inu will take off, and XRP will do what it's supposed to do. I'll be a millionaire. Maybe. But anyway, y'all come out and see me tonight at Acme Pizza. I'll be out there cooking and talking to y'all because I'm just an old common man and a person that's got to work for a living. So we'll be out there, and I'll be smoking butts for our barbecue buffalo chip fries, for our barbecue pizza, the pizza that is taking America by storm, the pig. I'll also be making dynamite balls. Yes, cream cheese, pulled pork, and sriracha, battered and deep fried to a golden crispy brown. And you can smell the smoke and taste it in every bite. Yeah, I'll be out there. You come out and see us. And of course, the greatest pizza in the world. That's what we have, according to Marvin Martian. And y'all know who he is. He's out of this world. But anyway, we got to take another break. We'll be back right here on the Chip Matthews Show here on WYAB as we celebrate Victory Day for Canton and Jackson. And, I just wish we had a bigger margin in Canton, but we're working on it.
What
Oh, yeah.
witnesses described as a deadly shooting.
It all happened at the Canton Estates apartment complex last night. This is exclusive.
And welcome back on a Wednesday here on WYAB. Okay, hold on. We're looking right now at a killing that occurred in Canton last night at the Canton Estates. And I was reading over it, and it says several Canton police and Madison County deputies were on the scene investigating and what they multiple in case. But where did I see what I was looking at? Oh, yes, the Lawrence Blackman. It says one of the witnesses, including attorney and state representative Lawrence Blackman, said a person was shot and killed. I understand that he was possibly a witness to it. But anyway, y'all, that's the Canton that we got to get rid of. And too many people where they need to be. I mean, I got to get more on that story as it comes out. But, I was watching them up at the polling precinct last night while we were waiting on the numbers to come in. And this happened right after the numbers came in. So that's interesting. We'll find out who it is and what's going on. But that is, sorry, I didn't mean to put that up there. But anyway. But it just seems like the air is just a little bit lighter. Knowing that the days of truly are over in Canton. I hope they leave us some money in the vault when they leave. Same for Chokeway and Jackson. Please leave some money in the vault and put your and hand off your keys to the nearest person as you're leaving the city hall. The question is, what will they do? What will they attempt? What will these people attempt to do in the last few days of them being? Of course, they have from now to July 1st, they'll be in office. So what will they do? Will they erect statues to themselves, name a building after themselves, this, that, and the other? I mean, Chokeway, you can go out there and chip that sign off at the airport. That way you can use it on whatever piece of Jackson. We can go take that sign down and put it in one of your potholes and name it the Chokeway Antar Lumumba pothole, and show your entire career there, because the tree that grows in some of these things have been there for the 12 years that you've been tearing down Jackson. So that's that. It's interesting. Clay, I can't wait to hear what Clay has to say today. This is going to be great. Then, of course, coming in at 10 o'clock is the Jameson Haygood Show with the Good Fight, and he'll be pumped and ready. And look, I missed all the national news. I don't know if Ukraine's at war, if Russia is happy, if there's peace in the Middle East. I've got to get to a TV and get to be a part of it, because I have no idea what's been going on. You get into a Canton election, your head's on a swivel, because you got to be watching who's coming up behind you and what's going on. And you got to keep up with who is who and who is what. I mean, because there were people called female dogs and names and stuff like that up in the courthouse yesterday, and they didn't like it. But they deserved it. I was sitting there watching, and yes, they were doing things that they weren't supposed to be doing. And the person that was getting on to the other person was correct. But that's Canton politics. They gonna scrap. They gonna talk. They gonna yell. But, this time, I just don't know how it's going to turn out. 50.7% win for for Tim Taylor. I almost said something else. I thought I was going to say Timothy Jenkins. But anyway, for Tim Taylor. And that's got to hold. We got to keep it holding. That city can move forward, because I will be happy with Canton in the hands of Tim, and I'll be happy with this city in the hands of myself. It's like I told Tim and I told his campaign manager, it's over on the Democratic side, but it ain't over, because I'm still coming, and I'm bringing hell with me, because we're going to fix that town. That town's fixing to get fixed, y'all. And that is great. That is great news. You need to check on property, all you real estate agents in Canton, get ready, because the growth is coming, and it's fixing to come to Canton quickly. And then also in Jackson now, you can start thinking about that. At least that something could happen. Not with John Horn, but when Kim Wade gets in and he starts helping you build the communities back, you got to find places to gather. I constantly tell you, we got to find places to gather where we can talk among ourselves on a regular basis. We need to work on making everything great around us. We need to be able to see people. We need to go to church, because the church is one building that everybody can gather in and be together. But like on the square in Canton, once we get stores and businesses back on the square, we will all see each other and we'll say good morning, tip our hat to them, just like in Gunsmoke. Walk by, tip your hat to the ladies, say good evening, good day, good morning. Imagine that. Or am I dreaming? Am I dreaming? That's the Canton I grew up in. And Tim and I once were at odds because I said Canton was like Mayberry. He said it wasn't on my side of town, but I didn't grow up on your side of town. And I know it was rough. And looking back at it, because now I know the older history. But the Canton that I had is the Canton that I want to see everybody have. We'll see you later.